something had to go wrong. Hey, greetings and welcome back to another episode of the greatest show in the galaxy. The show where I, the curator, discuss my personal favorite show of all time, personal favorite franchise of all time, Doctor Who. And it's been a while since I screwed up the intro this badly, so let's just try to move past that and get right into today's topic with my good friend Snark. Please save me because I want to bury myself after that.
It was flawless. That was an impeccable start to the show.
Impeccable timing, Your Majesty.
Hmm.
Now, as you would probably know by now, you have been on this show several times, and people watching this show, this is around the time where we get to the birthday section. That is
Sure.
how the show normally goes. However, this month specifically, we're doing a bit of a test run on something, and we're going to save the birthday section to the end of the episode so we can jump right into the main topic before without wasting any time. And the
Very
main
good.
topic of the show today is basically a continuation of something we did last year. So for those of you who don't who have been watching the show, for those of you who didn't watch the show or whatever, so last year I asked Snark and our dear departed late friend Ben Rayner, as well as our other good friend Raiko, to come onto the show and do what they thought would be a tier ranking of the best companions of the show. Little did they know that I basically added everyone who could be potentially considered a companion. And so we rounded up, we ended up doing a list of about 200 characters that we didn't even get to finish. We didn't do them all. And thankfully, I sort of did a version of it with my friend Ben, who is sadly no longer with us. But yeah, that went on for about 4 hours. But now I decided to sort of go back to a more serious version of what that list was supposed to be. Now, what I did with Ben is we just had a list where we judged these characters based on how attractive they were. We called it the sexy companion tier list. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're just going to be ranking these companions based on certain traits that the four of us that day last year thought are traits that make up a good Doctor Who companion. And as you can see right here, we got a bunch of tiers. I mean, obviously, this is sort of something we built up during the show. Like we kept adding more and more tiers, and
Right.
so we ended up with the best tier being called the Sarah Jane tier. This is a tier specifically reserved for the best of the best in companions, namely Sarah Jane Smith. And if I remember correctly, we also had the Brigadier on it, and we may have already also had Romana 2 on it as well. Uh, don't necessarily remember, but this is more or less what we had. And, Sarah Jane Smith was the reason for that tier's existence. You can see the list of the characters right here. Now, we also have
Joe
Camille.
Grant was Joe Grant on the Sarah Jane tier. I think Joe might have been up there too.
I think we decided to put Joe Grant on the chemistry with the doctor.
Oh, bro. Okay, right.
But in any case, here's Romana, so I'm going to do it right here. Now, as you saw, we have also Chameleon, the bottom tier, reserved for the worst of the worst. And somewhere in the middle, we have these different traits that we sorted these companions through. We have brains, obviously companions who have contributed with their great intelligence, loyalty, humor, confidence, style, badassery, chemistry with the doctor, ingenuity, kindness, mixed bag, and of course the forgotten, which a lot of the characters from that we are going to talk about today ended up being on the forgotten because none of the other idiots on the show knew who they are except me.
Right.
Well, most of them, anyways. So today, I mean, since we already talked about most of these, especially from the classic era, I figured we just talk about the ones we didn't get to, specifically the ones from expanded media stuff. You know, the stuff that everyone else didn't know, but I did.
Right.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, Snark.
Mhm.
Even I don't know some of these characters.
Oh boy.
Some of these I know by name because I actually had to search their names to put on this list, like Magenta Price or Destry or, Alice, whatever her name is. So yeah,
Right.
I don't know some of these. So we are going to do specifically just the characters that I do know. There we go. We put the Brigadier over here where he belongs. I remember when we put some of the other characters along the way. I'm going to put them here as well. But we're mostly going to focus on the characters that, no one knows who they are. So
Yeah,
no one could argue with us. Am I right?
that's right.
Okay, so the first two on our list, and yes, DR2 is a complete package, mainly
Very good.
because it's almost impossible to find images of them online where they're not together. So we have John and Gillian. I always say Gillian, but I mean, it's a comic book, so you don't actually know how it's pronounced.
Either could be correct. Either one could be correct.
Either or.
Mhm.
So they are basically the Doctor's grandchildren because the comic book companies couldn't get the rights to use Susan, so they just invented these two characters for the Doctor to have someone to travel with. And it's possible they may be imaginary figments of the Doctor's imagination, but we're not really going to get into that. I never actually read any of these comics, but they are characters that I'm familiar with. They are characters I know. So, what do you have to say about these two?
So there should be like Susan's half brother and sister.
I mean, they could be cousins, but again, they could be imaginary. So, like, who knows? And Susan technically is kind of the Doctor's adopted granddaughter, even though she's also kind of biologically connected to him. It's a whole complicated story that I don't even want to get into right now. But
yeah, this could not work out well for the Doctor. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I mean, here's a bit of a side note that I dropped on Frenchy a couple of weeks ago when I had him on the show. Do you know what Susan's real name is? Because obviously she chose the name Susan when they landed on Earth. That's not her real Gallifreyan name. Do you know what her real name is?
Nope.
Architor. Architor. Yeah. Do you know what that word means in ancient Gallifreyan?
What would it mean? Susan?
Rose.
Oh.
and that just opened a whole can of worms. But I mean, we're not even here to talk about Susan. We're here to talk about John and Gillian. So, what do we say about these two kids? I mean, we talk more on them than I think those two characters even deserve.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. They, I don't know, they seem quite Susan-ish. They seem like they're needing the Doctor's help quite a bit, and they look like they're angry or scared about something. So they're quite. I would put them in the Susan scale, but I can't remember what we did with Susan.
I think we put Susan in style. Because of how
then they do not look as stylish as Susan.
They don't belong in style.
No.
In full disclosure, I have the video that we did last year. I have it on a different tab, so every once in a while
you can look over.
There we go. Joe Grant, chemistry with the Doctor. Okay. So just give me a tier to drop those two in, so we can move into other characters I do know.
Let's go with the Forgotten.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, because we don't know much of anything about them. Now, here's another character that I don't know much about. It's a character called Oliver, and he's from the Big Finish Companion Chronicles range. And for those of you who don't know, the Companion Chronicles is basically like a regular storybook where someone just reads and narrates the story while also giving different voices to all the different characters. but it's done from the companion's point of view. Like they pick out a random companion actor or actress, like say Lala Ward for Romana, or let's see, Carol Ann Ford for Susan. They tell the story from the character's point of view, and every once in a while, there's a secondary actor who voices one role out of all the different roles in that story. It's a very strange format. I never really got on board with it, but I did read, I did listen to most of them, but I'm a few stories out before I got into this character Oliver Allen. I think that's his name, but I mean, he does kind of look like a 1920s character, at least from the attire. So
The
it's
the
gonna be a while.
the
What?
model, I'm pretty sure, is a British comedian. I think his first name is Tom, but I
Tom
can't.
Allen, yeah,
Tom Allen, yeah.
Tom Allen. So not
There you
Oliver
go.
Allen, Tom Allen.
There you go. And he's funny. I know that. So yeah, I already like him. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he is as a companion, but I know who Tom Allen is. So that's got to be good.
Okay, I mean, if
That's,
you know of him,
he's definitely not forgotten. If I could remember, well, I can remember mostly. So where would
so
we put him?
last time I think
Stylish? Could he be stylish? I
last
don't
time I think you jokingly said he belongs in the confidence tier
know. Maybe.
because he flaunts his bald head without. I mean that was your words, not mine.
Sure, sure, sure.
So should we do that again?
Yeah, let's put him there. There, that'd be fine. Style would have been fine. I think either works.
I think we gotta maintain the joke by putting him in the confidence.
Yeah, you got to be confident to go outside with no hair.
Yeah. Now here's another character that I don't know much about. I just know it's a robot that the second Doctor built and used it while during the events of season 6B. Yeah, I'm familiar with season 6B, by the way.
Not off the top of my head.
So basically, after the Time Lords trial the second Doctor and uh, you know sentenced him to regeneration in exile on
Hmm.
Earth, there's a period of time when they just started sending the second Doctor on missions to fix certain problems with the timeline. And then once those missions were over, they brought him back to Gallifrey, then force regenerated him into the third Doctor and put him on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's really where the two Doctors comes from, and that's really where the three Doctors come from, and the five Doctors. So that's why he was still. That's why he knew certain things that happened after the War Games, but it was still the second Doctor. So during that time, he constructed this abomination of a robot.
I think we talked about. Didn't we talk about this guy before?
Yeah,
Yes.
that he looks like the Tin Man.
I love it.
I knew you would. I think.
Yeah, that's how robots are supposed to look.
Yes. So you don't like the way K9 looks? Is that what you're saying?
I was gonna say he's no canine. Let me just get that straight right now.
So I mean, meaning he doesn't fight Satanists.
Yeah, he's probably pro Satanist. That stupid robot. Let's see. I don't know what we had. I would say ingenuity, just from the Doctor for making a robot.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Look at that. Poor thing is all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, he's like.
Pretty sure ingenuity was where we put K9 as well. Now,
Mhm.
this next character, another character I know nothing about, but that way we get a representation of each Doctor. And it's another thing that, just like this stupid thing,
Right?
I knew you were going to love just by looking at it. Zog.
Yeah.
So this is like a character from the stage play performances that John Pertwee used to do back in the day before he couldn't do it anymore. So they give the role to Trevor Martin. He's like an alien from some weird, short, squat race of furry people that becomes a companion. But I mean, like, it's all just so he can try to steal the TARDIS. That's really his main goal. but because the Doctor can't understand him, he thinks he's a good guy. He thinks he's a friend. So
He looks like a Mogwai that had his face burnt in a crystal meth lab accident.
I mean, when you really think about it, if a Mogwai is left to grow without turning into a gremlin,
Yeah.
this is what it would turn into.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
cute when it's little. You don't want to see it as it grows up.
Yeah, like this is like a potential split evolution. If you're using Pokemon terminology, this is a split evolution for a Mogwai.
Oh boy. So
So,
I would say not style. I would say not style
definitely,
for that guy. And he wouldn't be kindness. Badassery, I think that's a little too much, isn't it? Come on.
yeah.
I don't want to say forgotten though. Humor? Would humor work for him?
I think humor works. Just so
Yeah.
I can imagine some of the shenanigans of like him trying to take over the TARDIS and keeps getting swept aside by the Doctor, who thinks
Sure.
he's just playing with the controls. I think humor works.
Yeah. Good. Made me laugh as soon as I saw him. So there you go.
Yeah, of course. And now we're finally on to the characters I actually know about.
Uh-oh.
Sharon Davis. Now,
Right. We talked about her too.
full disclosure, she is the first companion of color officially because she was introduced in a comic book from 1980, which is around 25 years before, 26 years even before the introduction of Martha Jones. And well,
Was she a doctor?
no, she was just a regular girl from.
I couldn't remember what we put her at. I remember talking about her though.
I think she was from she might have been from Blackpool or Black Castle. I think Black Castle is where she was from. And after stopping Beep the Meep, the Doctor tried to get her back home, and unfortunately, because of the randomizer, it just threw them off into like other places. And I think the first place that they landed on was a place that was attacked by Daleks. And well, she didn't really have much choice. Just started traveling with the Fourth Doctor for a while, and while he was trying to get her back home, I guess it was kind of the precursor to Tegan in a way. But at some point, they just crossed a time fissure or whatever, and they both aged for about 4 or 5 years. Now, it wasn't noticeable on the Doctor, but it was definitely noticeable on her. Like she was I think she was a teenage girl, and she was sort of grew into almost a 20-year-old. Right. With the jumpsuit she was wearing at the time. And eventually she stayed on a planet on some random planet where the people used dreams to manifest into real things. It's a really cool comic. I recommend reading it. But overall, I mean, there's not much I can say as far as personality. She seems very average companion-y.
I like that one. That one looked like she was getting ready to kick some ass, though. That one, yeah.
I mean, she
flipping heck.
I'll show you. I mean, she freaking punched and kicked Beep the Meep.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole reason Beep the Meep took over her mind and hypnotized her was because she pitied him. Like she saw this apparently cute, cuddly creature, and who was injured. She took him home. And she gave him food, and she tried to get him back home. She didn't know he was basically Space Hitler, right?
Yeah, so, the worst.
Like, I think that's got to go for kindness, don't you think?
Oh, I would have said badassery just from say flipping heck.
Oh, actually, I think badassery does work. I mean, she did not flinch at the sight of Daleks. She wasn't scared of the Sontarans when they encountered them. I mean, yeah. I think badassery does work. You are on the money, good sir. Badassery.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is another Fourth Doctor companion, and this is from audio, but not Big Finish. It's BBC audio, and it's from the Nest Cottage Chronicles. So, long story short, for a very long time, Tom Baker refused to go back to the role of the Doctor. I mean, he kept being offered to join the Big Finish crowd, and he kept avoiding it because he didn't think he can bring the character back to life. And then, of course, he was offered to join in with the BBC audio range with, I think it was Mark Platt. It was either Mark Platt or Paul. Yeah, no, it was Paul Mars. Paul Mars, who also works on Big Finish, but Paul Mars wrote all the Nest Cottage Chronicles, I think.
Okay.
And he basically went wild and crazy with what he could do, and he introduced this character of Mrs. Wibsey, who basically the doctor just retired. He ran off and lived in a cottage somewhere
Smart.
in Sussex with this housemaid called Mrs. Wibsey, a dog called Captain, and he invited Mike Yates for some reason
Okay.
to help him. And yeah, well, this is Mrs. Wibsey. I think she was a woman from the 1930s.
Seems very nice.
Yeah, whose mind was taken over by alien wasps.
Of course, sure. Yep.
So the doctor sort of de-brainwashes her and kind of he had to keep her around the cottage just so she wouldn't revert back into her evil ways until the hive of evil wasps was defeated, and then she could just be his housemaid full time. And he even took her traveling through time with him. I think they met. What was his name? Claudius.
Sure.
I think they made Claudius, one of the Roman emperors. I keep forgetting something. They met like Space Rasputin, who for some reason was the exact duplicate of the Fourth Doctor. Go figure. They met an evil clone of the Second Doctor who sent the whole village to space. It's a crazy, wild ride. Like, at one point, they sort of traveled into a realm inspired by the Aladdin tale, and they found like actual Aladdin, and like the doctor's scarf became sentient and started granting people's wishes. I'm telling you this so you'll check this out. Like, seriously, there's some
Like a
really
genie.
crazy freaking stuff in that one. But I mean, hey, she was bad and then she was good. But overall, like, she was kind of a dick.
So she's a mixed bag.
Yeah, she is a mixed bag. I mean,
There you go.
even after the doctor de-brainwashed her and she was, quote unquote, a good guy, she was kind of a dick. I mean, she kept complaining and whining whenever they got lost and got away from the TARDIS. I mean, she does have some loyalty to her, but I think mixed bag does actually fit the mold.
Mm-hmm. Genius.
So what do you say, mixed bag then?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, cool. Now the real challenge is finding all these stupid characters.
Wow.
Do you think I can find her quickly, or should we move on to the next one? And I'll do that while I'm talking about the next one.
There's sure a lot of them. Well, that's for
I mean,
damn
hey,
sure.
Yeah, 200 characters. What did you expect?
Bananas. That's bananas.
Yeah. Okay, I can't find her, so
All right, next. We'll go next. We'll keep her. She's in the mixed bags of our heart.
As soon as we find her.
Yeah.
Now, this character, I'm going to be honest with you straight up, I do not like this guy one bit.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
Maxwell Edison. Okay, so he's a local lunatic from
wait a minute. Maxwell Edison,
What?
majoring in medicine? That's from Maxwell Silver Hammer.
I mean, maybe it's a similar sounding name, but it's a different Maxwell Edison. No, he's the local lunatic from Stockbridge who is for some reason obsessed with aliens. Like he thinks that he can locate. Basically, imagine like the kid from E.T. grew up.
Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot from E.T. grew up. And he keeps
Mhm.
building these crazy contraptions out of random stuff he finds in his backyard. And he thinks those are alien tracking devices. He thinks he can find aliens. but he keeps failing. And the one time he actually does find an alien, it's the Doctor, and he takes him off to someplace in space somewhere, and the guy's an idiot.
All right.
And that's all I can say. They did, however, bring him on to Big Finish one time, and he was voiced by Mark Williams, who, of course, we all know as Mr. Weasley, and of course, Brian Pond. But, I mean...
Father Brown.
I think the Big Finish stuff actually makes him interesting, but if we're only just talking about the comic book stuff, he's incredibly annoying. He keeps getting lost because he doesn't listen to the Doctor, and he's always getting stuff into trouble, and the Doctor keeps having to save him. I think at one point the Doctor slaps him for his stupidity. But, I mean, or maybe it was because his mind was taken over, or maybe because he was too scared, so the Doctor just slapped his like, hey, get a grip on yourself or whatever. But I found Mrs. Whimsy. But yeah, that's Maxwell Edison. That's all I can say about this character.
You decided on mixed bag. I thought you were gonna go Chameleon for sure.
Oh no, that was Mrs. Whimsy.
Oh, that's Mrs. Whimsy. Oh, okay, you finally found it. Yeah, no, I was thinking Chameleon for this guy as well. I say bang bang. Let's put Maxwell Silverhammer down on his head.
Cool. I mean, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Now, this character from the Fifth Doctor comic book range I love.
Ooh.
Shade.
He looks like Mysterio.
I mean, that's basically what you both said last time. So yeah, he's a Time Lord Black. He's a Time Lord Black Ops operative.
Badass. This is easy.
Yeah, they went pretty literal with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, as you can see, he has a removable head. I mean, this guy can hide in your shadows. He strikes from the shadows.
Why isn't there more of this guy?
He helps out the Doctor. Yeah, I think badassery works really, really well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where else would you
take off his own head?
Yeah, and he strikes from the shadows. He's a warrior. Yeah. He's a fighter. He's Shade.
Yeah, the name could use a little work, but yeah, I like it.
Screw you, I like the name. Shayde.
Oh, there's a Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, another character I really love from the Fifth Doctor comic book range, Sir Justin.
Okay.
So basically, he's a knight from around the time of King Arthur, but it's never actually. I don't think it has actually specified that he is a knight at King Arthur's court, but he's from around that time. He somehow gets displaced in time, and he's forced to team up with the Fifth Doctor until the Fifth Doctor can find a way to send him back. It happened during the Tides of Time storyline, and eventually he sacrificed himself to save the Doctor, and they erected a statue in his honor, which still stood hundreds and hundreds of years later after his sacrifice.
This one's easy. That guy's a morning star. He's a badass.
Because I was going to go with loyalty.
Ooh. You take a guy with a sword in one hand, a morning star in one hand, and his best quality is how loyal he is. Then sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with it.
I mean, because of how unlike this idiot.
Yeah.
He kept saving the Doctor from stuff. Like, even though he barely knew him, like, he instantly made friends with him, and like he gave his life for him. What's more loyal than that?
Yep, he's a loyal dude.
Yeah, he's truly a great guy.
Ooh.
So where's the loyalty? There's right up there.
We haven't hit the brains one yet. Yet to hit the brains one.
We might.
We'll see. Guys, we will see.
So this guy, Gus Goodman. Now,
Goodman.
Gus Goodman. Now, here, there's a bit of a disclaimer here. I do know this character. Mm-hmm. I read his introduction comic book issue, but in that issue, he doesn't officially become a companion just yet. It's only in the next issue, which I haven't gotten to yet. Okay, so I read his introduction issue, but I didn't read the next one where he actually becomes a companion. And basically, this guy is a World War II fighter pilot, and he somehow gets strapped on an island full of Japanese survivors, one of which happens to be someone that the Doctor just made friends with, and he kind of kills him. How that develops into him becoming a companion of the Fifth Doctor, I have yet to discover. But this guy, while he is a handsome fighter pilot and a product of his time, he's kind of racist because of the war.
Oh, brother, and he has that terrible mustache too.
Yeah, so I'm guessing no style points for this guy.
No, he lost all styles points with his racism.
Yeah, racism has no style.
Well,
Where do we put this guy though?
you can't put him in any of the great ones if he's
And again,
just some dumb racist.
Racism is in the issue that I saw. Maybe when he actually becomes a companion, he grows out of it, but that is just the issue that I read. Like, he sees a Japanese guy, he doesn't hesitate and just straight up kills him.
Ooh. So he was a World War II pilot.
There's Chameleon.
Yeah.
I think last time we put Turlo in Loyalty as a joke.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that again.
Sure. Would you say just mixed bag for him? Or would you put him all the way down to Chameleon?
Again, I'd say mixed bag because maybe he grows out of
we're not sure.
Of the rot that he's in. I don't know where to put Tegan. Let's put him in mixed bag for now, and I'm going to put. Actually, I'm going to put Nyssa at chemistry with the Doctor.
Yeah.
I love Nyssa. Iris Wildthyme. Okay, so this could go to either humor or style because so she's like, imagine River Song, but crank the crazy level up to 15 out of 10.
Ooh,
like she's crazy. She's a time lady from the bottom era of Gallifrey. Is somewhat connected to the Doctor in a way, but I mean she's a crazy, wild character. There's a reason why her name is Wildthyme. Like she travels the universe in a time machine. I think it's a TARDIS shaped like a double-decker bus, and she's got a panda companion. And when I say panda, I mean literally a stuffed teddy bear panda that talks in a Scottish accent or an Irish accent, one of the two. And
she looks familiar too.
She doesn't even live her own life in the right order. And here's a funny gimmick that she's got: is that every time she regenerates into a famous actress. So yeah, you got obviously she's modeled after Katie Manning, who plays Jo Grant. But I mean, she's also been Jane Fonda, Beryl Reid, Shirley Bassey. Like she basically regenerates into famous actresses. So I think from this picture alone, we can kind of gather that she belongs in the style category.
I was leaning towards there, or humor. But yes,
style. That's why I said it could be style or humor.
Let's give her style. Let's go with style.
Cool. I'm down with the style.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that if we keep finding these characters, it might be easier to find them because we keep taking them off the list.
My goodness.
Yeah, so let's just put a pin in that. Style for Iris Wildthyme as she deserves. All right,
sure.
I think you also put Bessie in the style category, and
Yep.
you put Liz Shaw in the brains category.
Sure.
That'll help thin out the herd a little bit. Okay, now we're back to the characters from the Fifth Doctor that I really don't like.
Oh, good.
Thomas Brewster. So he's like a street urchin, or rather a street rat from the 1800s, I believe. He lives on the sewers, and he basically he stole the TARDIS, like
Yeah.
legit stole the TARDIS and took it for a joyride and started breaking off pieces of the TARDIS and selling it to pirates.
Stole the doctor's shirt too.
Where is it? What?
So he stole.
Yeah, he basically he went around telling people he's the doctor. So
That sounds like a real jerk.
yeah, he was. He definitely was.
So
He does
loyalty
have
is
a
out.
redemption arc at some point, but yeah, I'd say that. I'd say so.
All right.
So
Now,
where do we put this guy?
Nope.
Because I really don't want to spend too much time on him.
yeah. Do we chameleon him,
I mean,
or does he have attributes other than just being a jerk?
like I said, he does have a sort of redemption arc. He does fall in love with a girl and tries his best to help her,
Oh boy.
but that's about it.
Yeah, I would chameleon him.
So you would put him in the chameleon
Yeah.
area. Okay, cool. I saw
Banish
that-
him.
Okay, there we go.
Banished.
Let's chameleon this guy. Okay. Now, Hannah Bartholomew is sort of a big game huntress from the 1800s or the early 1900s, but she gets better. She doesn't stay a big game huntress, and she's just like an adventurous, and she sneaks on board the TARDIS and goes and joins the Doctor. Sort of stows away with the Doctor and Nyssa, and she joins them on this sort of Indiana Jones Tomb Raider adventure in space. And then obviously she in the next adventure she kind of sacrifices herself to save the Doctor and Nyssa in a psychic space station that races people's minds. But this is not, by the way, this is not a picture of her, because there are no pictures of her on any of the Big Finish covers.
Okay.
But this picture, I don't remember the name of the actress, but it's the same actress from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Right? This, yeah, she was the mother of Veruca Salt from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the
Sure.
new one, the new one. And I mean, this outfit kind of fits her style, at least how she was introduced in her first Big Finish. So
Where would you think, like, if she's a big game hunter, would she be a badass? I'm not sure if we could tell.
I'd say, yeah, I mean, I think badassery does fit her.
Okay.
So we'll just take her off the screen so we can show everyone where we're putting her. I still haven't found Iris Wildtime, by the way.
Let's see if I can.
Not for lack of trying.
Oh boy.
So we said badass.
Badass.
Right?
She's a badass.
Yeah. You notice I also added Leela and Ace
Yep.
on
Yeah.
here as well. Okay, now. Erimem Mushin Teperem. That is their full name. Erimem for short. She's an Egyptian pharaoh
Ooh.
who the Doctor just asked her to join him because he doesn't remember any pharaoh Erimem in history. And I mean, there's sort of a much longer story with giant scorpions, and she wasn't really supposed to be the pharaoh originally, and it was kind of a problem with the timeline. So the Doctor's way of fixing it is he took her with him to all throughout time and space. She's she's kind of like Jamie in a sense that she's from so far in the past that all these futuristic concepts don't really make much sense to her, so she keeps trying to understand what all these things mean. But in this in this story in particular, the Council of Nicaea, I believe that, and Nicaea, I believe that is the, I don't remember the name of the place, but she stands up for people's rights. She stands up for democracy and people's rights and the right to vote and whatnot. She's a very, very good character, very confident character. I think maybe we should put her in confidence. And here's one of my favorite parts about this character is that how she left the TARDIS, she stayed on Paladon and married the king and became the new queen of Paladon.
Queen and Pharaoh.
So she's a pharaoh from ancient Egypt, as well as now she's a queen
of Paladon.
Paladon. Yeah. Did you get to the Paladon two-parters, by the way?
No.
Oh, so you don't know the Paladon. Okay. Never mind.
Ooh, Jenny Gutter's in that one.
Who?
Jenny Agutter in a little movie called Logan's Run.
But you were talking about the Paladon, right?
Yeah. No, I just saw her name on the featuring.
Oh, okay. So where do we put this character?
I think you had it before. We could put her into the.
Finally found Iris Wildtime, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That only took 2 or 3. That's pretty good. When you're going through 300 or whatever. What did we say? Confidence? I think we said confidence for her, right?
Yeah, I think confidence was good.
Mm-hmm.
There she is.
I was going to say, did you lose her now?
No. I mean, that angry look is unmistakable.
Yeah.
Now, as you see in this picture, she also has a cat.
Okay.
Intranek, named after her big advisor. Now, I couldn't find actual images of the cat, so I'm using this image right here, which is from a different cat, believe it or not. Apparently, there are a lot of cat companions,
No
but
kidding.
we're using this as reference because there's a scene in the immediate story after this where the cat just jumped onto the TARDIS console and started sleeping on it, and the Doctor really needs to get to a button on that particular section of the console that he's sleeping on. So he's starting this sort of negotiation with the cat, trying to get it to get off the console so he can press the button. And well, you know how cats are like, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what are we doing with this cat?
I was just looking at the thing, and I'm just kind of ruling things out as it's a cat. I was like, loyalty? No.
Yeah, definitely.
Brains? No. Let's see. Badassery? Nope. Kindness? I don't know.
I mean, if it does help, he gets sacrificed by space witches in an evil ritual, a blood ritual.
Jeez. Well, gee whiz. All right. It's kind of a
That's kind of a bad way to do it.
kind of monstrous, isn't it? Geez, but I don't know, kindness would work. Loyalty?
No, it's a
The
cat.
cat. God damn, like,
If it was a dog, maybe, but it's a cat.
would the cat be a mixed bag?
I think, yeah, the cat could be. I mean, he's only in like 2 stories, and like I said, the
Okay.
second one gets sacrificed by space witches.
Jeez.
I mean, also in that story, the space witches rip off the Doctor's head and start eating it.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh.
that's the thing that actually happens.
Those witches sound like a bunch of jerks.
Yep. They were. So mixed bag then?
Mixed bag sounds good. I have to take care of one.
It's kind of hard to
really good.
protect this stupid thing.
Hold on.
Okay. Now we have a character with technically 2 names. Originally she was named Amy, but then they changed her name to Abby. And they didn't actually acknowledge it, but I think they changed the name because they didn't want to confuse it with Amy Pond, who was also a companion after this character was introduced. Now, I'm going to wait for you to come back. because I can see you left your chair. So in the meantime, I'm gonna try and look for some of these other characters. Okay, so clearly Sir Kingdom belongs in the badassery. Let me know when you're back, by the way. Where do we put some of these other characters? I don't remember. Yeah, definitely you put Adric in the comedian area. We put Dodo in mixed bag. I think last time we did this. Really hope he's back. Uh, I got into an argument with Raiko, and because he's not here, I'm going to declare myself the winner and put Vicky in kindness. Are you back, by the way?
Yeah, sorry, the kids had to get something pointed out to them.
Okay, so did you hear what I said about Amy slash Abby?
No.
Okay, so a character was introduced as Amy during the second Key to Time storyline on Big Finish. And obviously later they changed her name to Abby because my assumption was that they didn't want to confuse this companion with Amy Pond. So we're just going to call her as Abby from now on. But basically she was created by the Grace, these pan-dimensional beings that sort of maintain the order and chaos in the universe. And she was teamed up with the Fifth Doctor on their behalf to go out in the universe and find the pieces of the key to time again. So I mean, yeah, she didn't really have a name when she was created. So the way is that the Doctor scrolled through different names until he landed on the name Amy, which of course then later she changed it. Now obviously she's got these psychic powers. She can read people's minds and she can influence people's minds. She and her sister Zara can teleport wherever and whenever they want in the universe. I mean, they have their own standalone series called Graceless. But
Okay, right.
you know Graceless, we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh, where where would be a good spot for her?
I don't know. I mean,
Would brains?
I don't know because she's got the intelligence of a child because she was just created specifically for one reason.
Yeah.
She's not
Can you scroll up a bit? I have to see the other guys here. I'm at mixed bag. Chemistry with the Doctor, not really. Confidence. Wouldn't be humor.
I think maybe kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's when
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff associated with this character, but she doesn't do that out of malicious or nefarious reasons. She wants to do good. It so happens that her and her sister destroy planets by accident every once in a while.
You know what? If anybody watching this can honestly say that they've never destroyed a planet, then you know what? You're a better person than me.
So kindness,
Yeah, kind of sounds fine.
kindness for the planet destroying godlike being,
Yeah.
which is over here.
Accidents happen, guys.
Yeah, and that's something they stress a lot. It definitely was an accident. Now we have a character called Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
This one is pretty wild. Do you want me to explain it to you?
Please.
Okay, so she's an evil clone of River Song.
Okay.
Who was made a companion of the Doctor specifically for the purposes of killing him on the orders of Madame Kavarian, which she did. So see, she killed the Fifth Doctor several hundred years before River Song was supposed to kill the 11th Doctor, which caused a massive time paradox. Now, by the end, her and her sisters turned on Madame Kavarian, and they sort of kept. So, if you're wondering what happened to that Madame Kavarian, you know the character with the eye patch, the one with the eye patch. Yeah, she eventually went back, and she was captured by Brooke and her sisters, and was kind of forced to be tortured till the rest of her life. Now,
so kindness is out.
Yeah, definitely kindness is out. So here's the thing. You know, River Song, literally named after
Amy
a
Pond.
body of water, river.
Right. Mhm.
So all of these, they had
Oh,
several.
Brooke. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
They had several evil clones, all named after bodies of water, like Puddle, Leak, Craig, Lily, all kinds of stuff. And when she went back to the training place where they actually trained her and her sister, she had these three other sisters, uh, H, H2, and
Oh boy.
O. So yeah, H2, H2, and O. Yeah.
The
I just
worst.
thought that was kind of funny.
Oh
But
boy.
you clearly do not like that.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting deep to my soul. Uh,
So, okay, you don't like humor. Okay, duly noted.
uh, she's a torture. I think would badassery would probably be too good of a name for her. I'd imagine
Yeah,
it's a lousy torturer,
I mean,
even though she's torturing for sort of good. But she did kill
she
the
did
fifth
kill the
doctor,
doctor.
so loyalty is right out.
If there was a tier called cruelty,
That's why, yeah. Not you know what? Not one of the best attributes to a companion. Cruelty. Oh, maybe she's a mixed bag. She did kill the doctor, but she also tortured another bad person.
yeah. So mixed bag.
Mixed bag.
Okay, mixed bag. Let's see where she is.
There
There
she is,
is she.
hiding. Not anymore.
Okay, I don't remember the full name of this character, but it's Marcus, I think. So he's like a Greek servant of Cicero
Hmm.
from ancient Greece that just proves his he's smarter than what people think he was. So he joined up with the Doctor, Tegan, and Nissa, and during their travels, and he basically became a second Adric.
Oh,
And
so of
what I mean
course.
by that, he was kind of converted into a Cyberman, partially converted, but I mean, he struggled to keep his humanity. And like, there's some really strange body horror episodes with this guy of him knowing he's a Cyberman, but he's trying to maintain his humanity, and he's trying to be good. He's trying to be a good guy. He doesn't want to let the cyber conversion take him over.
Okay. Would you say he's better than Adric?
Absolutely, 100% yes.
Okay. So we won't put him on the same level as Adric then. No problem.
Yeah,
Uh, trying to be good.
yeah. Cyber converted, but fighting his programming. The whole reason, this is the strange thing. The whole reason he was converted into a Cyberman was because he won a race. Like they had this race to find the best and most uh, suitable humans, the ones who are the most fit for cyber conversion, and he won.
So the Cybermen were all over the Olympics back then.
No, sorry. I'm just deleting pictures. But yeah, he
Sure, that's fine.
was. It wasn't really the Olympics. It was just after he already picked him up from Greece and they started traveling together. They just landed in the middle of a racetrack, and it's like the whole society revolved around this race. Like people lived and died on this race. Racing just went on for days until someone won.
Tell
And
you the
because he
truth,
was an athlete in peak physical condition, he won.
I'm having a hard time thinking of a good spot to put this guy. Then I wouldn't say like is he brainy? Probably not.
I mean, yeah, he was pretty brainy. I mean, there were
Was he
one
or the
reason.
Cybermen? He was part of the Cybermen collective.
No, but he was pretty smart even before
Okay.
the Cybermen picked him up.
Do you think that would be a good spot for him?
I think brains could work for him. But
Did he ever kill the Doctor, or attempt to kill the Doctor, even as a Cyberman?
well, no.
You could say he's loyal.
Yeah, I suppose. So we're putting him in the loyalty category.
Yeah.
Okay. Just was trying to add some pictures while we were talking.
Add some. Oh, to the thing. That's fine.
No, add to the
Yeah,
overlays.
yeah.
Overlays. So did we say loyalty or brains?
I think loyalty.
Okay, loyalty I think works for the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this one I think we all kind of know where she's going, but it's the fake Perry from the Lenny Henry spoof of the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
She's only there just to be the sexy companion that asks questions, but I mean, this whole thing was just a spoof made for humor. So that kind of tells you exactly which tier she's going to be belonging to.
Yep.
Yeah. So freaking find her. I think she's there right here. The parody,
Oh,
the
good
spoof
job.
one for some reason right at the bottom. Okay, so we got humor. This list is really starting to fill up, by the way.
Yeah, that's good.
And speaking of humor, one of my favorite characters,
Mm-hmm.
Frobisher.
I think we
he's
talked about him before, didn't we?
what?
We must have talked about this guy before.
I think we must have. But yeah, he's a shape-shifting penguin private detective with a New York accent.
I love it.
I mean, how the fact that this character is not on television is a travesty.
Yeah, it's a huge mistake.
He became a god at one point, or worshipped as a god in the Holy Terror. Yeah, you can clearly see he's very interested in this.
I like
He
it.
can play the piano. I mean, he's a shape-shifting penguin. That's one of the most genius ideas for a character I've ever seen.
Yep, it's a comic book. Go nuts. I like
Yeah.
it.
He did also have two Big Finish appearances, but
Ooh.
he's mostly known as a comic book character. So, where do you think he?
Humor for sure.
Oh, so you're saying let's humor him?
Oh, brother.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let me just do this now because I have to.
Agree.
Okay. Now, humor. You'd think it'd be easier to find a picture of a penguin. Here we go.
You'd think.
You'd think.
You'd think.
Okay. Now on to one of my favorite characters from Big Finish of all time, and my favorite sixth Doctor companion,
Ooh.
Evelyn Smythe.
Yes, we've talked about her as well.
She's a history professor who has a sort of time displacement around her. The Doctor takes her back in time to the time of Queen Elizabeth I, and she just becomes a full-time companion of the Sixth Doctor, and they just go all over the place. And they had a lot of adventures together. She was, even though she's technically speaking younger than the Doctor, she was basically like a mother figure.
Yep.
In a way, she's very motherly. She kept making these chocolate cakes, and she fell in love with a guy named Rossiter on another planet, and she left to get married. She was one of those companions that were not afraid to put the Doctor in his place when he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
She challenged the Doctor. She argued with him, but in a loving and caring way. It's almost as if Clara Oswald was written like a good character.
Oh, brother. One of your favorites.
Yeah, she's like so she's like a better version of Clara Oswald. And I like her dynamic with the Sixth Doctor. She even had some interactions with the Seventh, but really, for the most part, she is known as a signature companion of the Sixth Doctor and my personal favorite of his. And her tragic death scene is one of the most heartbreaking moments in Doctor Who ever. And of course, the actress is no longer with us, so it hits harder once you think about that. But to me personally, I'd say chemistry with the Doctor fits her best.
Sure.
But
I was thinking that, or I was thinking that, or loyalty, and I think we need to. I think we need to fill up some spots in the chemistry with the Doctor spot. So I
yeah,
think that works perfectly well.
Maggie Stables, may she rest in peace. Okay, now I think you might know this character or not.
Oh boy.
Are you familiar with Mila? So she's the character that you listened to Patient Zero and Plague of the Daleks?
I'm not sure. It's been a
You know
minute. I may have.
the Sixth Doctor story with the Virons, where
I think I have.
and that's how officially Charlie Pollard left the Sixth Doctor.
Yes. Then yes, I definitely have. I
Yeah, so
definitely. Oh yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Sure. Okay. Yeah.
he's the bodiless entity that took over Charlie Pollard's body and
Yes.
sort of wander around.
Yes.
with Charlie.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I know you're. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
so what do we do with this girl?
Well, kindness is out.
Yeah, she sacrificed herself, but I mean, she did take over Charlie Pollard's body
I'm
to
trying
do
to.
so.
I'm trying to think of a way to think of her as being of ingenuity because she actually took over a person and had the Doctor. I can't remember if the Doctor said he always knew. He couldn't have always known.
No, he legitimately thought that she
Yeah,
was.
that. Yeah, he started getting. He started. He started getting. You started questioning it at the end, but. Would you say ingenuity?
I think ingenuity works,
Yeah.
not in the good way, but
No. Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, ingenuity from Mila.
Yep.
Now another one of my favorite. It's weird how the Sixth Doctor got all the best companions on audio, but Flip Jackson,
Ooh,
short for
okay.
Philip, by the way. So Flip
Sure.
Jackson, I think humor actually. She's really fun. She's by her own admission, she's not very smart, but she's really sweet. She's kind, and she knows a lot of pop culture stuff. She's got these Harry Potter jokes from time to time.
Hmm.
There's this one story focusing on H.P. Lovecraft, where apparently she knows a lot of H.P. Lovecraft's creatures because her big cousin is a gamer and he played the Cult of Cthulhu, the video game. But like, I think she's very sweet. She's either kindness or humor. I think humor works better for her. But
Okay.
do you agree?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, some of these are a lot easier than others. Okay, so humor for Flip, and where else? So now we're on to some of the pictures that I added, which didn't. Wait, hold on. What? Where are some of the images that I brought in? Okay. I was afraid of this. Let me just let me just bring in a couple of these images now.
Okay.
Live TV, folks, it's the best. You should try it.
Sort of live. Live on tape.
Yeah. Live on tape. I like that.
Mm-hmm. That was on the Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, okay. So we sorry. So we've got a character called Constance Clark. She's a World War II.
She's the best one.
How do you know?
She has my last name.
Oh yeah. Maybe you're related somehow.
Probably. She's my
Yeah,
cousin.
actually, is Clark with a C or with a K?
Well, it's with both. C
Yeah, that's the name.
CLARK.
I think hers is KLRAK. But
Then she's evil. That's how it works.
oh, oh, that's how it works then.
Yeah, yeah. You mix them up, it's evil.
Anyways, she's a World War II Wren from Bletchley Park. Are you familiar with the World War II Wrens? Do you know what that term means?
Ren?
Yeah,
Mm,
W
Yeah,
R E.
no, I understood the Ren part, but no, is she like a spy?
Kind of. She's like a code breaker for World War
Okay,
II soldiers.
right. Okay.
Rather, she's in charge of the code breakers. She's like
Ooh.
the commander of a squad of code breakers. She runs off with the Sixth Doctor during the war, out of fear that she thinks her husband might have died because he was missing in action. Turns out later, surprise, surprise, he not only survived, but he went back looking for her when he couldn't find her because she left with the doctor. Some time has passed, and he married another woman because he thought she was dead. Like, can you blame the guy? But yeah, later on, she went back to traveling with the doctor because she realized there was nothing much left for her anymore. So
Mm-hmm. Would you put her in brains?
I would put her in confidence.
Okay.
Well, that's what I would go. But speaking of brains, let's put Melanie there.
I'm just thinking code breaking. That's gotta be smart
I
to
mean,
break code.
she's basically she's a commander, a military commander. She doesn't have a high opinion of herself. She carries herself in a very
Hmm.
elegant way, and she's very no nonsense, which is weird because she's shouting with the doctor, but whatever.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, confidence for Constance.
Confident, constant Clark.
Yeah, and let me just check something because my the order was completely skewed for me because hold on. So we did these characters already. We did Frobisher, Constance. Okay, so oh right.
Mm-mm.
Well, I was kind of hoping we didn't have to talk about this idiot, but well, here we are. Where's this stupid picture? Okay, so one picture and one picture only because the character wasn't even shown on the Big Finish cover that he was in. Some kid called Matthew, and we got a picture of the actor standing next to Colin Baker. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was already introduced in an episode as a companion who's been around for a while, but it's revealed by the end that this whole time he was traveling with the Doctor to try and trick him into giving him the TARDIS. Weird that it's happening all that it happens a lot, but
Yeah. It's got one of those. The Sixth Doctor's got one of those faces. Well, I guess, and the Fifth Doctor has just have one of those trickable faces. I guess they think people think they can just trick him.
yeah,
I would put him way down at the bottom.
you would put him at comedian level.
Yeah, you know why?
I
Because the youngest kid's name is Matt, and I know what he's like. So there you
oh well, I'm not gonna get into that.
go.
But let's just put this kid where he belongs. There he is. Camelion.
Yeah, you can hang out with Adric.
Yeah, hanging out with Adric. Not
Hmm.
the best way to spend an afternoon. But yeah, so I think that's it for the sixth Doctor. Moving into the seventh Doctor. Now, okay,
Hmm.
this character did appear on television, but she wasn't a companion on the TV show Mags from the episode The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, which is what this show is named after.
Sure.
She was kind of being uh, a slave to this Professor Explorer guy, and the seventh Doctor takes a liking to her. We don't really know why she, follows this douche around when she does everything he tells her to, and then it's later revealed in the episode that, oh yeah, surprise, surprise, she's a werewolf.
Vampire. Oh,
That's
werewolf.
yeah, no, she's a werewolf. That's why he keeps her around. But
Smart.
on the Big Finish side, she did become a companion, and she's a werewolf, but she's a good werewolf. Like she doesn't want to kill people. Whenever she transforms, she tries to make sure she's not anywhere where other people are can be found, so she wouldn't accidentally kill someone, like Red Riding Hood from Once Upon a Time.
Right.
But yeah, she's a werewolf. She's a good werewolf.
Sure.
And she wants to learn how to control.
Like Teen Wolf.
Yeah, she wants to learn how to control her temper.
And she also wanted to win the high school basketball game. Just like Teen Wolf.
Well, what do we say about this girl?
100% she's getting put in style.
Really, style.
100%. Look at those eyebrows and those clothes. She is a child of the mid 80s. I know that look like the back of my hand. Oh yeah, she's style for sure. Look at that. Look at that hair teased all the way up. You know what? You know how many hairspray bottles had to die for her to have hair like that? Unbelievable.
You want to know something? I kind of wanted to put her in style too,
There you go.
and I was afraid I might actually.
She
have
looks
to
like Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue.
Yeah, I was afraid I might actually have to fight you on this,
No.
but thankfully I didn't.
There you go.
Now, before we move on, exactly what do you know about Bernice Summerfield?
Very little, except that she's extremely popular on Big Finish. Hugely popular.
She's kind of the inspiration for River Song in many
Okay.
ways. She's an archaeologist from the future. In fact, in Doctor Who lore, and I think on Big Finish lore, she was River Song's professor in the university where she studied archaeology.
Mhm.
But I mean, she was introduced in the novels first, then brought into Big Finish. She was like the first major range on Big Finish. Before they were even doing Doctor Who audios, they were doing Bernice Summerfield stories.
Yeah.
And she's still one of the most popular characters on Big Finish and in Doctor Who of all time. So I think either chemistry with the Doctor, or we should just go right ahead and put her in that fabled Sarah Jane.
I think you have to. Yeah, there's a couple I had in mind with these sort of ones, and I knew, like again, I didn't know much about Bernice Summerfield, but I know that she has an extensive library in Big Finish, so she would have to be in the Sarah Jane category for that alone.
Where is she? There she is. So look at that. An expanded media character ended up in the Sarah Jane tier.
Might be another one.
Might be. Okay, so full disclosure, I do not like this character. I don't.
All right.
But he's very, very, very popular with people. It's Hex. Okay?
Okay.
Full name, Thomas Hector Schofield. Okay? Now, long story short, while the Sixth Doctor was traveling with Evelyn Smythe, they met this girl called Cassandra, I think, Cassandra Schofield, who was working for shady people who later turned out to be vampires. But the reason she was working as a waitress in their nightclub was so she could provide for her baby boy, Tommy, who of course later was revealed to be Thomas Hector Schofield, and his mother, Cassandra, was bitten by one of the vampires. She became a vampire herself. It's a whole story in and of itself, but yeah, this whole thing happened while in the Sixth Doctor's main range, and then later he became full on a companion of the seventh Doctor. Had a really close relationship with Ace, and not really a romantic relationship. It was more of a
Fraternal.
No, it was like a big sister, younger brother type relationship.
So
Uh,
fraternal.
oh, that's what that word
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Okay, so we learn something new every day. But yeah, so he was yeah, he's a nurse basically. So he's kind of also the inspiration for um, Rory in many ways. Like the
Okay.
first time when he was working night times at a hospital, which later it was turned out that that hospital was sort of a front to making Cybermen. He joined the Doctor, and he basically was a precursor to Rory. Like he was a nurse to anyone who got injured on their adventures together. Eventually, he gets shot by a British military captain at one point, and the Doctor has to kind of jump through hoops to get him to heal. He eventually ends up uh, dying and sacrificing himself to save the Doctor from Fenric, another major character from the TV show that made his way to Big Finish. And then he somehow gets reincarnated in the form of Hector Thomas, who is a British mobster of some kind. Before he also travels with the Doctor and then gets his memory back, and eventually he retires and marries another one of the characters we're going to talk about today. I mean, this character has so many stories with him, but in very similar to Rory, he doesn't take things lying down. He uh, he says no to the Doctor a lot of the times. Like he's one of those characters that that tries to put the Doctor in his place, and he gives the Doctor shit when he deserves it. So
Right.
so basically, he's Rory.
So why don't you like him? You mentioned a bunch of things that sound very good. It's a good qualities to have in a companion. Why don't you like him?
He's got a very annoying voice,
Oh, there you
and
go.
when
That'll
your
do
whole
it.
character when your whole character lives and dies on audio,
Yep.
that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very annoying voice, and
I get it.
he's incredibly whiny, despite looking like this.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I mean, I don't like him. I mean, there are a lot of good characters, not naming any names, that I don't like when other people just love.
Mm-hmm.
But this character, I like the stories he's in, but as a character, he's not for me.
So he doesn't. It doesn't sound like he deserves to be in the chameleon bracket. So that's right
No,
out.
no, definitely not.
I wouldn't say ingenuity. I would take that out. Um, what do you think of uh, loyalty or uh, 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 maybe chemistry with the Doctor?
We can kind of rule him out with chemistry with the Doctor.
Okay.
I'd say maybe kindness because again, he's a nurse. He takes
Yeah.
care of injured people regardless of whether they're good or bad. I mean, and that's kind of what nurses are.
Okay. Yeah. Let's put him in kindness. Let's put him in kindness.
Yeah, I can
We actually
find.
don't have many in kindness yet. That's a good
Yeah,
spot to put people.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. And you know, to be fair, my sister-in-law was a nurse for quite some time. She was not always the nicest nurse. So just being a nurse by itself doesn't mean kindness. I'm going to say that. But
Okay,
yeah, he sounds like
okay.
he was a fine
You
gentleman
know
with
better than
an annoying voice.
okay. I think this character is the epitome of mixed bag. Elizabeth Klein.
Okay.
Okay, she's played by Tracy Childs, who played Peter Capaldi's wife in the Fires of Pompeii episode.
Hmm.
But do you want to know why this character is so incredibly controversial?
Oh shit. Okay, what happened?
He's definitely one of the most controversial companions of all time, including Clara Oswald. You want to know why?
Ooh. Okay, why?
She's a Nazi.
Oh, for God's sakes.
The Doctor had a Nazi companion. And do you want to know her backstory? Because that's pretty freaking crazy.
What is it?
Okay, so the Doctor and Ace landed on a Nazi castle, Colditz Castle, which I believe is a real castle, by the way. But this really douchey asshole um, Nazi officer, played by David Tennant, by the way,
Oh.
took them both in as prisoners, and he took away Ace's things, including her Walkman, which she eventually sent to Berlin, and they eventually found a way to break it down and reverse engineer it, and that is how they got laser technology in the 1940s, and that's how they won the war in an alternate timeline. And so yeah, in the 50s, she was born in the 50s. She grew up in the 80s, and then she found the TARDIS and somehow managed to find a way to travel back in time to make sure that the timeline she was born in actually happens. And she was tricked by the Eighth Doctor, of all people, traveling in an alternate timeline, traveling into the alternate timeline to fix the mistake of his previous self, the Seventh Doctor, and making sure he fails, and that they manage to get the Walkman and kill the Nazi officer before the timeline can be changed. But unfortunately, she was kind of left as an anomaly, fallen between the cracks, and left in the other timeline where the Nazis didn't win. And so the Doctor kind of felt like he had to do something about her, so he kept her on as a companion, which she kind of despised him for the first couple of episodes. And then, surprise, surprise, he stole the TARDIS and restarted her own timeline where the Nazis won, and they used time travel to win all the other wars that happened after the fact, until eventually the Doctor convinced her that, just stop with this bullshit, go back to the regular timeline, and just enjoy history the way it's supposed to be. And eventually she mellowed down and she became a sort of good person. She joined UNIT and amended her ways, and she became a good companion, and she became a good close friend of the Seventh Doctor. But there's a lot of shit she had to go through to that place. That's what I think. She's the epitome of the mixed bag category.
Yeah, I was going to say kindness is right out.
Definitely is.
Yeah, mixed bag.
No way in hell am I putting a Nazi character on the mixed bag.
No, like she should be in Chameleon, but I'll say mixed bag if she can turn her life around a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like this character.
Wow.
I hated her
wow.
I hated
that
her.
That is shocking.
No, seriously. I hated her at first because of all the Nazi stuff, but she had such a big character development. Seriously, you gotta listen to these audios. I'm telling you. Like, she had such a major character shift that I'm like, okay, you're still a Nazi, but I respect you for the changes you made. And then that's it. And you know what? I actually prefer the Nazi character to Clara. Anyway, so
that's on brand. That's on brand.
Yeah. So we have Lysandra Aristides. Another, the Seventh Doctor really did take a lot of the short straws. But yeah, wow. So she was a sergeant, I believe, in. Oops, that's the wrong character. She was a sergeant in the Forge, which is another. Think of it as like kind of UNIT, but not really, like more morally gray UNIT. I wouldn't say evil UNIT, but not very nice.
So like a Black Ops.
Yeah, Black Ops, led by Nimrod, a vampire character from the 1900s, who eventually usurps control over the organization and starts doing some shady businessy stuff. She's, again, Lysandra was kind of his second in command. She was kind of working for him, but after he died and he almost killed the Seventh Doctor, she switched sides and became a loyal companion of the Seventh Doctor during the whole business.
The actress?
I don't remember. where she was
She looks very familiar.
I don't know. I do not know. Do you want me to look her up later?
No, I do not. I do not.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, she's one of the few companions the Doctor did teach her how to pilot the TARDIS,
Okay.
but I don't know. She's kind of bland for me. I mean, she was only brought on for a specific thing, but it is what it is.
Should she be forgotten then?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I do remember her, but she's not.
Yeah,
very
you remember a lot. You remember a lot. That's unfair.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the forgotten works best.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not very interesting. There's not much I can say about it.
Sure.
Something that is very memorable.
Ooh.
Sally Morgan, who was also around around the same time, while Lysandra Aristides. At some point, the Doctor sort of splits his companion group into two. Like you have the group of Lysandra Aristides and Sally Morgan at the same time that he's traveling with Ace and Hex. And it's like this really weird, complicated storyline where you had two TARDISes, a white TARDIS and a black TARDIS. And
It's like one of those husbands who is a salesman or whatever and has two different families. Is that what's going on here? Do either of them know about each other? Do they?
Eventually they did.
Okay.
Eventually they became aware of each other. But yeah, I think she was working for UNIT.
Okay.
And eventually she joined with the Seventh Doctor when her squad all got killed by some mad sentient house with blue fire in it or something like
Jeez.
that. I don't remember much, but yeah. And eventually she did end up marrying Hex, and they had children together.
Yeah, that's nice. Good for them. So this is the girl that you were talking about that Hex was going to meet up with the other companion, blah, blah, blah. All right.
Yeah.
So obviously they do know about each other. If I would have just kept my mouth shut for 3 more minutes, I would have had that told to me without interrupting you. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, if the actress looks familiar to you, that's Amy Pemberton, who played Gideon on Legends of Tomorrow. To say.
Jeez. All right.
Like I recognized the voice. I was like, why do I know? Where do I know her from? And I looked it up. Oh, yeah, of course. Gideon.
Should we put her with Hex?
Where did we put Hex, by the way?
Kindness, I think.
I think so, yeah. I mean, she took a lot of shit from Ace. She kept calling her Private Barbie. Ace. And you know,
that's on brand too.
Yeah. And she was like, you know what? Call me what you like. I do my own thing. You do yours.
Yeah, that seems good.
And do you want to know something?
Sure.
I think we've now reached the point where oh no, wait, we got 2 more to talk about, and then we can go into an area where you might be a little familiar with, and I won't have to carry this whole thing on my own anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, we got a nameless character from another spoof thing. Like this character legitimately does not have a name. And it's from this blonde companion from a minute-long spoof video featuring Jim Broadbent as a version of a Doctor that could be the I mean, it's a parody.
That's a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything there.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. He's got the 4th Doctor's coat, the 7th Doctor's umbrella, the 6th Doctor's handkerchief, the question marks.
Got some tartan going on.
I think he's got the 5th Doctor's vest, 7th Doctor's pants, like. And then this is what she says: "Who is it, Doctor? I'm not very bright. I haven't got my glasses on." And yeah, it's a spoof. It's about a minute long, so there really isn't that much you can say about it. But she's just there to be the stupid companion. That's really the definition of what she was brought in for, like the dumb companion who asks questions.
Yeah. Forgotten.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Doesn't even have a name.
doesn't even have a name. They didn't even bother to give
Couldn't
it
care
that.
less. They could not care less enough to give her a name. Damn it.
And she's even right here at the bottom, even on the tier list.
Sure.
Yeah, she's forgotten. Another thing so forgotten that I even forgot to put her to talk about her when I should have. So we're gonna circle back. This is Rachel, a woman that helped the Doctor get back his TARDIS in the alternate timeline where Klein sort of forced the Nazis to win. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, she's dead, but if it wasn't for her, the Doctor wouldn't have broken out of his prison. He wouldn't get his TARDIS back after Klein stole it.
Okay.
Her name is Rachel. I mean, I forgot about her now. So should we just go ahead and put her in the forgotten and be done with it?
Sounds fair.
Okay. Now, surprisingly, we got a video game companion, the Grak. So in the mid '90s, there was this game called Destiny of the Doctors. It is
Okay.
not very good. It's a first person perspective running around different corridors of the TARDIS, fighting
Okay.
badly rendered villains such as Daleks, Cybermen, Sontarans, Sea Devils, Silurians, Ice Warriors, all the Yetis, all the big guys who can barely shoot straight, and you can't really do anything to them. You just gotta avoid them, and you do stupid puzzles all over the place until eventually you create this abomination, which is a companion who eventually saves the Doctor, all 7 Doctors from the Master. Now, the one good thing about this game is that all the cinematic cutscenes are just Anthony Ainley as the Master, just having fun, being the Master. But so Forgotten,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, makes the perfect amount of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, finally, we're on to some characters you might know.
Okay.
Namely, I mean, of course, do you know who I'm talking about?
I would imagine it's. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go Charlie first?
Of course I am.
Charlie Pollard.
Charlie Pollard, a companion of both the 8th and 6th Doctors,
Mhm.
because that's how she rolls.
Yeah, that's right.
Or as I like to call her, Better Clara. But yeah,
There's a lot of better Claras in your little thing there.
yeah, I mean, when you really stop and think about it, Clara is just a mix of all these different characters that Dean Moffat liked, took them all, put them all in a blender, and Clara was the end result. But yeah,
No.
again, like I said, it's like if Clara Oswald was a better written character, and she came first.
Yeah.
So what can I say? You love Charlie.
Yep.
Where would you put Charlie on this list?
Sarah Jane.
Really, you would go there?
Oh, sure.
Because I don't know that I would go that high.
You're a monster.
But I am willing to go with Chemistry with the Doctor, because she does have
Well,
great
yeah.
chemistry with not one but
2.
2 Doctors and fake Doctor knockoffs.
Oh, okay.
From the place, obviously, the
Yes, of course.
the ones that are the Doctor but not really the Doctor. Where is she? There she is. I think Chemistry with the Doctor works best for Charlie Pollard.
Fine.
Now, if we already talked about Charlie, we gotta talk about Ramsey, the Vortisaur. You remember Ramsey?
Yeah, of course.
He was on the TARDIS for like all of 3 episodes until he took him back to the time vortex.
Well, she was in. It was Ramses was in the same episode that Charlie was introduced, right?
Yeah,
on the blimp.
Storm Warning.
Yeah. They're on the blimp together.
Yeah.
Only lasted it last 2 episodes, 3 episodes? Can't remember.
Something like that, 2 or 3.
Yeah. It's not. What are you gonna say? You can't say style. You can't say. I wouldn't say badassery.
you want to say forgotten?
No, I don't think forgotten. Let's say mixed bag.
You're saying mixed bag from
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Mixed bag for Ramsey. Another character you're familiar with, Kariz.
Yeah, Keres.
Kariz. What can you tell us about Kariz?
Well, he's definitely not loyal. He's a
Definitely not. Yes.
yeah, he's a murderer. So kindness is out. Uh,
Style is also out.
yeah, not very stylish.
How do you give style to a character that can literally change the color of his skin unintentionally?
Right. Ingenuity. Um, chemistry with the doctor. I wouldn't go as high as that. Brains.
Hmm.
Like he's definitely not chameleon. He's definitely not the forgotten. I wouldn't say he's a. Well, what do you say? He's a mixed bag.
I think mixed bag does work for him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a way we could put him in a different. It's not. I guess with these tiers, it's not like there's a higher or a lower tiers. We're trying to get the thing that
What
fits
fits
best.
your
Fits
bet?
best, right? Mixed bag is probably it. Yeah, because yeah,
I mean,
he's definitely different.
he does die to save the doctor.
Yep.
He does feel remorse for having to kill his girlfriend because
Hmm.
of what those ant creatures did to her.
Made her a great big larvus caterpillar birthing out shit. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, he is kind of haunted by her death and what happened to her.
Hmm.
You kind of feel sorry for the guy,
Yeah.
and he was
Stunt
imprisoned
play.
and used as a circus freak
Yes.
in the 1800s. Where is he? There he is. Where are you? Mixed bag.
Yeah, I think mixed bag's fine.
Okay. Did you? Oh, so you're not familiar with Lucy Miller, are you?
I don't think so.
She's another Eighth Doctor companion, but
Oh, right. She's the one that comes after.
yeah, but she's from the Eighth Doctor Adventures, not the main range,
Yeah.
not the monthly range.
No, I'm not familiar with her at all then.
Yeah, so basically, it's another stupidly complicated origin story, but she was plucked from her timeline by the Time Lords and placed under sort of witness protection program with the Doctor. Like she knows something. She's important to the timeline, but she doesn't know why. The Time Lords just put her with the Doctor, so he could figure out what's so special about her.
Okay.
And guess what? Those idiots took the wrong girl. Yeah. Always trust the CIA,
I like it.
Celestial Dimension Agency.
Yes.
Yeah. So once they found the right girl, she was like, "Can I still travel with you?" And the doctor was like, "Yeah, of course you can." And they kept traveling together until they ran into the meddling monk, which I haven't gotten to that story yet. I'm caught up to the Morbius storyline, but
Mm.
I mean, she's kind of like, in a weird way, a precursor to Donna because she
Right.
was kind of introduced around the same time. Imagine it's like a younger Donna Noble
Hmm.
with a northern accent. Now, just like with
A
Hex,
northern accent.
yeah,
Oh boy.
just like with Hex, she's got a very annoying voice, and that really does uh, hamper my enjoyment of her. But she's got some good storylines. I don't know what to say about this character. I kind of wish you knew more about her, but I mean that's neither you know.
Well, she has a very almost a similar origin story as Charlie, who another like with this time the doctor plucks her out of her timeline, and then all the people that gave him shit about it decide to do that with some other girl and don't even get the right one.
Yeah, because they're stupid.
Hmm.
Stupid Time Lord can't even keep track of one human girl.
I don't. Well, I don't know. Not a badass, that's for sure. At least not. That's not what it sounds like.
kind of badass. I mean,
What
she
does she
took
do?
um, it's almost 4 in the morning, so it's kind of hard for me to remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she is one of those characters that stand up uh, for herself. She's very similar to Rory,
Is that a
and
gun in her hand in that picture?
yeah,
Oh, there you go. All right.
and I was looking for the full picture. She kind of teams up with this giant centipede character voiced by Alexander Siddig.
What? All right.
Did you catch that? The giant centipede character voiced by Alexander Siddig.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
From D Space Nine.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that guy. I mean, she does
Okay.
kind of stand up to the Time Lord. She stands up to the Cyberman. She protects a Zygon character at one point.
Well, the last picture in Badassery is someone holding a gun, so why not her? Put her in badass.
Let's put her in badass.
She doesn't look quite as badass as Shade, but still badass is fine.
Okay, this character I don't know much about. But I mean,
Oh boy.
I know him circumstantially. Alex Campbell. He's basically the Doctor's great grandson. He's Susan's son.
Oh.
I haven't listened to his one story yet, but I mean, he's the Doctor's great grandson.
Okay. Well, Styles out.
Yeah.
Style is way out.
I think because he only appears in I think one or two stories and never is brought up again. I think we know where this is going, right?
Yep. I forget.
Yeah. I forgot just talking about it. Did you, by the way, make it all the way to the Mary Shelley storyline with the Eighth Doctor?
I didn't, but that looks cool. Like a Frankenstein Cyberman?
Yeah, Frankenman. And you know, Mary Shelley. Go figure, right?
Yeah. I remember you telling me that Mary Shelley is a companion at some point.
Yeah. Where do we put Mary Shelley?
Well, you can't. It's definitely not forgotten. People have been talking about her for 150 years.
Yeah, people know who Frankenstein is.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
So that's out. I wouldn't say chameleon. Kindness, no. Ingenuity, maybe.
Actually, from the story that she's in, I think kindness does work.
Okay. I was just trying to think of a way I could put her in brains or something.
I mean, we could put her in brains. I mean, she definitely has one of the most imaginative minds of all time.
Let's put her there. I think that's the one.
I think Mary Shelley, let's go brains. And in case you didn't notice, I am using the picture from the Jodie Whittaker story, even though we are talking about the Paul McGann stories with Mary Shelley.
Sure.
Are you familiar with Andy? Andy? I mean, he's called Andy, but people just call him Andy.
Andy. I'm not sure.
He's from Torchwood.
Okay.
He's one of the police officers, not police officer, just a policeman from Cardiff. Really good friend of the Eve Miles character, Gwen. But eventually just kind of becomes a friend of the Eighth Doctor in the Stranded storyline.
Okay.
And I mean, I know him as Andy from Torchwood. I don't know him as the companion because I haven't gotten to the Stranded. So there are a lot of audios. Let's put it that way.
A lot. There's a lot.
Especially for the Eighth Doctor. Especially the Eighth Doctor.
There's a lot.
A lot.
Then you go back to Gallifrey. Then you go back to whatever you want. Gee whiz. Yeah, there's a lot. Where would you put Andy? He doesn't look like maybe kindness. He doesn't look like a jerk.
No, he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's a very kind person. I think based entirely on my knowledge of him from Torchwood, I would say humor, because he is really, really funny. But he does have a lot of really cool moments, especially in the Children of Earth storyline, where he knows bad stuff are going to happen, and he doesn't care. He does the right thing. He takes off the policeman clothes, and he helps the civilians trying to protect their children from being taken away. Like that takes courage. That takes heart.
Okay.
But
Then he could fit. You could fit into multiple boxes here, but I don't want to put him in mixed bag.
or the Sarah Jane category because he's not.
Right.
Definitely not Ingenuity. Can't be the Doctor again. I haven't listened to it yet. Definitely not Style because all he wears is the policeman.
Yeah, policeman shit.
Do you think maybe confidence, loyalty? I'm going to confidence, loyalty, or humor. I'm kind of stuck between this square right here.
Let's put him in humor.
You want to put him in humor? Okay. Where is he though? Damn it! The list just got smaller. It's gotten smaller to the point where it fits on the screen, and we still can't find people. There he is. So we said humor, right?
Yes, humor.
Okay, this character is from the comics. I don't know her. I haven't read the comics, but I know of her backstory. I heard it somewhere. And when I learned about her backstory, this is wild. Okay, a character called Josie.
Okay.
Do you want to know what her backstory is?
Yes, of course.
She is a living painting that came to life.
Okay.
And not only that, it's a living painting that the 12th Doctor found and decided to give it to the 8th Doctor. And then she came to life and started walking around. Didn't know she was a real life painting until she found out later in the comic book run. Like, it's a crazy idea that could only happen in Doctor Who. A living painting that's also a companion.
It's kind of like the portrait of Dorian Gray, right?
Yeah, kind of.
All right, I actually like that. But a spot to put something like that in. Style?
Yeah, I guess Style. I mean, she is literally a work of art.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Style.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this character I really love. She's from the novel, or the one novel in particular, Engines of War, Cinder. She's from a War Doctor novel. And basically, I mean, just look at this image right here. She fights the Daleks in the Time War in the Tantalus Spiral on the planet Moldox. And I mean, she dismantled a Dalek to build her gun.
Yes, you've told me about this before. Did we maybe talk? I wonder if we talked about this in the previous ranking thing that we did.
I remember we definitely talked about her.
Yeah, and you know how many pictures of her has a gun in it, so you know where I'm going to say she has to go.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean,
easy.
I think she is the epitome of badassery.
Oh, I was thinking kindness. Yeah, badassery also works.
Let me see though.
Right below you. No.
Oh,
there you go.
Badassery to the max.
Mm-hmm.
After she dies, but I mean, that's what really triggers the Doctor into stealing the moment and ending the Time War. But speaking of the Time War, Cardinal Elistra. She's the head of the War Council, and she basically kind of has the War Doctor on a leash.
Oh, okay.
Like she keeps sending the War Doctor on different missions all over the Time War to help out with the struggle against the Daleks. I mean, like, how many characters can say that? Well, other than Clara Oswald, how many characters can say that they have the Doctor on a leash, especially the War Doctor?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's technically classified as a companion, even though she kind of
it doesn't sound like a companion to me, but that's fine.
Well, they do travel in the TARDIS a lot.
Yeah. Like a supervisor. More of a supervisor than a companion.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, she does get captured by the Daleks and held ransom, and the Doctor goes in and save her, and then they just go all around different points of the Time War, solving problems wherever they can before circling back to Gallifrey, and they get reacquainted with Leela, an older Leela. It's a whole storyline in of itself. Highly recommend the John Hurt War Doctor audios on Big Finish, but where do we put this character, because it's a very complicated one.
Is this someone that you would just put in badassery as well?
I would put her in bad, or just assholery, but I mean,
Sure. Yes.
if we had those,
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that on there? What would you think would be a good spot to put her in? Confidence?
I guess, yeah. I mean, she thinks she's got the Doctor wrapped around her little finger.
Yeah.
She thinks, she can single-handedly take out the Daleks.
Yeah, that's
alone.
we figured it out.
That's pretty
easy.
confident, I would say.
Yeah.
There we go. Confidence.
Get in there.
Okay. Now, have you ever seen The Curse of Fatal Death?
Possibly. I can't tell you for sure though.
It's the Rowan Atkinson spoof.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You saw it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we got the character Emma from that spoof. I mean, the spoof itself is really funny.
Yeah.
And she's in it, but I mean, does that qualify as humor?
I'm trying. Well, we put the other spoof girl in the humor thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think by default you gotta kind of have to put her in the humor category.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of funny companions all of a sudden.
She looks familiar too. I can't. Well, I'll think of it later. Yeah.
Maybe. Now, in an attempt to revive the show, they brought in they did the Scream of the Shalka, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but it was like two animated attempts at reviving the show in animated form with Richard E. Grant as the Ninth Doctor.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I think we talked about it when we did the theme songs.
Yes.
But yeah, and they also had an Android version of the Master, voiced by Derek Jacobi.
Nice.
But I mean, he was kind of the precursor to Missy in a way, and that was specifically the last season where she was trapped and she couldn't leave the TARDIS, so she kept doing maintenance work on the TARDIS while the Doctor was away on adventures. But yeah, it's the Master as an android voiced by Derek Jacobi several years before Derek Jacobi actually legitimately played the Master. Where do we put this guy? I mean, to be honest, I watched Scream of the Shalka several times, and I could not tell you with a gun to my head what happens in it.
So there's a place we have for things like that.
Yeah, a place where we put the things we forget about.
Mm-hmm.
The forgotten.
That's right.
And also in that is a companion called Ellison. But again, I watched it several times. The information just doesn't penetrate this thick skull of mine. So, forgotten.
That's right.
Okay, so the Ninth Doctor on Big Finish technically had a companion called Nova. And this is kind of the only picture because she wasn't even featured on the Big Finish cover. But she was only for the first box set. And then after that, he kind of went on his own. He met the Brigadier a couple of times. But the Ninth Doctor technically didn't have a companion. And Chris Eccleston doesn't want a companion because in his mind, his only companion should be Rose. Right. So until they can find somehow to start making Ninth Doctor adventures taking place after he met Rose, right now we're kind of settled with the Ninth Doctor traveling on his own, and this character Nova right here is kind of the only companion that we can see.
Yeah. Again, are we filling up Forgotten too high? Is there too much in Forgotten?
Let me just check. Oh yeah, there are a lot of people in the Forgotten section.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are a lot of companions to begin with.
No, that's true. I would put her in Forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, she's not. I'm sorry, but she's not very memorable. Like, she's got some good stuff in the box that she's in, but she doesn't really stick with me.
Hmm.
Something that does stick with me, and we're skipping over the 10th Doctor and moving straight into the 11th Doctor because I really can't wait to talk about this character, Kevin the T Rex.
Awesome.
It's a mild mannered android T Rex as a companion. Getting him through the TARDIS was a challenge,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's an intelligent T Rex companion. Like, this is something that can only be done in the comics.
Yep.
And it's great. It was a lot of fun. It was really funny. I really liked the story. It's a shame he was only in it for like 3 issues. But by the end, he got this mech suit armor. And he ended up being a security guard on a space station by the end. But
Smart.
so I think humor works with this guy. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
great character. I wish that we saw more of him.
It'd be humor or it'd be badass because of the suit and stuff like that. But I think humor is going to be the one that works best. But we've talked about him before.
Yeah. So still sticking with the 11th Doctor, we've got Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Sarah Jane.
What?
I'm just kidding.
What is? Oh yeah. So yeah, he did technically meet the 11th Doctor in the comics.
Hmm.
I highly recommend the Doctor Who Star Trek crossover. I mean, it's got Cybermen teaming up with the Borg, and obviously the Doctor
Sounds yeah.
and on the Enterprise, and the Doctor takes Picard on a trip in the TARDIS. It's a really great storyline, but I mean, it's Captain Picard. Where do we put this guy?
He fits in so many different spots.
Yeah, but the question is, does he fit in all these spots as a Doctor Who companion,
Yeah,
or is
he
Captain
does
John
not.
Picard?
Yeah, you have to think. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know. Like, like just going off of how I know him as a character, brains, of course, would work. I wouldn't put loyalty because if he's only in the one cartoon, he's loyal to the Federation, not to the Doctor. Confidence, for sure. Humor, occasionally. Style, he only wears the same thing all the time. I wouldn't say
Humorous
that.
for Picard?
Hmm?
When is Picard humorous?
He's occasionally, I said
I
occasionally.
mean, I think he's more humorous, not because of the way he's written, it's because of all the things.
The way he reacts against things. That's
No, I
true.
think it's more of some of the memes that came out with this character.
And that's true.
The
That's a great one.
Yeah, sorry, I or how about this?
Gee.
Sorry, no one saw that. Hold on. Where is it?
Yeah, perfect. Bravo. Ingenuity. He, of course, he's fitting
Actually,
there.
yes. Yeah. I mean, there's literally a maneuver named after him, the Picard maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Ingenuity for Picard.
Great.
Here is it. Oh wow, it's severely underdeveloped.
Yes.
Okay. I think now we're kind of on to the last one by default.
Sure.
Last one I know of. Abslom Doc. Yeah. I think it's
We
kind
know
of,
where he's gonna go. We
Yeah.
already know.
I mean,
It looks like he has a chainsaw sword, for God's sakes, which is amazing.
his nickname is the Dalek Killer. Where else would we put this guy?
Kindness.
Definitely kindness.
Mhm.
Kindness or loyalty.
Sure.
Right? Sure. I mean, Absalom Duck, the infamous Dalek Killer. Like, his introduction story was it was introduced as being on trial for crimes against humanity. He was given a chance to pick his punishment, disintegration or exile, and he literally chose exile, and I quote, because disintegration is painless.
Ooh.
So he banished him to a planet occupied by Daleks, hoping that when he eventually gets exterminated, he can take as many Daleks out with him. And eventually, not only he killed all the Daleks on the planet, he stole their ship and started tracing around the galaxy, killing any Daleks he comes across. And this guy's a companion of the 11th Doctor.
Yeah. How friendly.
Beloved character from the 80s who had a resurgence in the 2010s in the comics. But I mean, this is a character that I think deserves to be shown on the TV side. Only problem is it's an extremely R-rated character.
Yeah. It's hard to make a chainsaw sword too.
It's called the chain sword. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, after he picked the weapon from the robot that gave it to him when he sent him to exile, he's like, "Hey, come here, slash!" And then he went to his exile. Like this character is so much fun. But that is a story for another time. I think 2 hours is long enough. And we didn't even cover. And then look at all the characters we still didn't talk about.
So many.
Yeah, so many.
Plenty of time to get into those. Plenty of time.
I just hope that this time the website doesn't delete all the work that we did.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Should take a screenshot.
Yeah, I should probably do that. I mean, but the problem is it doesn't fit on one screen. So we're going to have to see how I get around that. And now, 2 hours into the video, before we wrap things up, the birthday section. I think this might have been a mistake. But I'm going to let you in a secret. It wasn't my idea. Oh. So I think this test run kind of proves that we do not need to move the birthday section and just keep it where it is. But yeah, I don't even have the brain capacity to keep talk about birthdays right now, but I'll try to do my best. So we are counting from the 27th all the way to the 3rd. The 27th of June to the 3rd of July. And the first one up on the 28th is Daniel Weber. He played the character Darius Spike on the K9 series, not the one where he's fighting Satanists, the other one where he's fighting lizard people that I never watched. That other K9 show.
Is that the Australian?
Also on the 29th, get this, Snark, Lala Ward, Romana, the second Romana to be specific.
Yeah, she's over there.
Yeah, right. She's been watching everything we did just now. On the 29th, Maureen O'Brien played obviously the character Vicky in the First Doctor era, and she's still around doing stuff today with Doctor Who. She was recently seen on the collection trailer for season 2. Also on 29th, Miss Catherine Jenkins. Weirdly that we're talking about this character in considering the list that we had, but she played Abigail in A Christmas Carol. You know, the one with Michael Gambon in it. She was the girl who can sing to sharks, to lullaby the sharks, and she traveled with the Doctor and Kazran Sardik all across time and space. And speaking of one-off companions, on the 30th, we have Mr. Rupert Graves, who of course played the character John Riddell in Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Again, one-off companion, but I just saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny yesterday, so that character is really big on my mind right now. And this character kind of looks like this guy, so he's on the list. July 1st, Mr. Matthew Jacobs, who wrote the 1986 TV movie with Paul McGann. Also on July 1st, Ace Bhatti. Sorry if I mispronounced the name, but yeah, he played the character of Haresh Chandra, the father of Ronnie Chandra in the Sarah Jane Adventures. And since, that character has made a resurgence on Big Finish, maybe we'll get to see him reprising the role on Big Finish as well. I don't know. The actress who played his wife is a regular on Big Finish, so maybe we'll get to see him there, her there, both of them there. On the 1st of July, this is very interesting. We have Darth Vader himself, David Prowse. Did you know that he was the Minotaur in the Time Monster on the Third Doctor Adventures, where they traveled to Atlantis? He played the Minotaur there.
I thought I knew most of the people he was, but yeah, no, I didn't know he was in it at all.
He was like a 5 minute scene, but it's Darth freaking Vader. So yeah, I gotta put him on the list.
Sure. Yes, of course.
Yeah, and also on the first, Sonny Caldines. He first made his appearance in The Evil of the Daleks, playing the Turkish character Kemal, and then obviously after that he played a Ice Warrior in every single story to feature the Ice Warriors in the classic series, namely the
Ooh.
Ice Warriors, the Seeds of Death, the Curse of Peladon, and the Monster of Peladon. Also on July 1st, Gene Marsh, who, of course,
Oh,
the legendary companion Sarah Kingdom, who continues to play that character today. I mean, she also played Joanna in The Crusade. She played Morgaine in Battlefield. She played a lot of different Doctor Who characters, and she was married to John Pertwee
by the way,
in the 60s.
she was
Yeah.
married to the Third Doctor.
Yeah, before he was the Doctor, by the way. Okay, now on July 1st, no picture, unfortunately, I couldn't find any, but Daphne Dare, who was the costume designer for basically all of the first Doctor era and most of the first season of the second Doctor era. So she was from season 1 all the way to season 4, and she gave us some of the best Doctor Who costumes of all time.
So she's the reason that Susan was put in our style thing for like an honorary member of the style thing.
I mean, she did a bit more.
It's
than
her
that.
and her alone.
I mean, she designed some of the monsters as
Oh,
well,
that's cool too. Yes, those are my favorite parts.
and some of the other.
She just shuck a rubber mat. I like it.
So she designed some of the other alien attires. And speaking of alien costumes, wrapping up our list on the second, we have comedian Peter Kay, also known as the Absorbaloff, from that one episode where he was literally playing an alien monster created by an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Or was he 8-year-old? 11-year-old was the one who designed the TARDIS. The 8-year-old was. Either way, it was a monster designed by a kid, and he played it. And
looks great.
yeah, that about wraps things up. The lovely list of people we had today. Thank you all. We quite literally could not do this without you. And this is I'm going to say it right here and now. This is the last time I'm seeing the birthday section to the end. Frenchie, if you're watching this, your ideas suck.
Yeah, Frenchie.
Yeah.
Come on, Frenchie.
Also, we love the meddling monk. So, Mr. Snark, before I fall asleep on the couch right here, where can the good people of the interwebs find you?
Well, if you want a poor Twitter follow, you can follow at Snark-Yeti. I do lots of stuff over at the LGRN network. I've been mostly doing stuff over at the highlights of sports stuff, but now I've done some more on the entertainment side. I do some entertainment news break stuff with our pal Justin Hamilton, and currently we have been reviewing all the Indiana Jones movies leading up to Dial of Destiny, which I'm going to go see. I would have been seeing this an hour ago, but helping out my buddy 50, now I get to see it in about 2 hours. So looking forward to that, and I'll have a review on the channel there at some point, hopefully this weekend.
Cool. And you can find me every Monday on this show, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, talking about the greatest show in the galaxy, Doctor Who. Every Thursday on Fun with Flags with my good friend Soda, where we teach each other about each other's countries, and the episode is uploaded, provided, of course, Soda remembers to do so.
Oh,
which,
shit.
spoiler alert, he didn't. But I'm gonna settle my score with him later on. And you can also find me on my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek, where I talk even more Doctor Who. I do weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way to 2022. And I also recently watched the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and I uploaded my review on it yesterday from the point of view of me recording this, by the time this goes up, it will already have been on my channel for a while. So you can go ahead and check that one out. So that is all from me. And in the words of Missy herself,
don't forget to like and subscribe.
goodbye.